generate income with what you already have, and then so that you can get ready for what we're going to be having upcoming. So if you have not yet really done a lot of monetization, maybe you got the products, and maybe you kind of feel like, well, I'm a little stuck, I'm a little overwhelmed, I don't really know where to start. If that's the case, then you're pretty typical. That happens to just about everyone. It's part of sort of the way you pay your dues, but we're going to help you to get unstuck in this series. So what I want to start tonight by doing is answering any questions that you might have. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and type them in the box. What I'm going to do is while you type your questions into the box, if you have any tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking some of the survey questions that we have. So again, if you have questions, and your questions can be about anything. It can be about PLR. It can be about some of the WealthyPLR packages that you have. It can be about internet marketing in general. Any questions that you have, all you've got to do is just type them right there into the box, and then I will take your questions. And this is going to be an ongoing series, and I'm not really sure if I'm ever going to do this again, and I'm not really sure if I'm even going to allow the replay to show. I haven't really decided whether or not I'm going to do that or not. So for those of you who are here, great. I'm glad to see you, and take advantage of this time. Take advantage. Make sure you get your questions answered. I do have some things I'm going to cover, and I know that it's going to be beneficial to you in your internet marketing business, or in particular, your PLR business. Now, one of the questions that we got in the survey, was this: what is the absolute minimum? What is the absolute minimum foundation and steps to setting up an online business? What are the absolute minimum foundations and steps to starting an online and to setting up an online business? Now, I'm going to give you the bare bones. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to get started. And some of the things you might have already. If you don't have them, these are things that you need to put in place as soon as possible. These are the minimum things you're going to need to set up an online business. Now, when I talk about setting up an online business, what I see is that you are going to need to first build a list. Second, you're going to need to have the ability to create products or work with someone who create products. And then you are also going to need the ability to create content, right? You're going to need to create content. Now, again, if you're already at this point, maybe you have some PLR, maybe you have some things that you're doing, these things that I'm going to be telling you about, they're only going to help you, and they're going to help you to put together some of the pieces that you have. Now, if you're on this call tonight, just by show of hands or just by acknowledging, if you have, let's say, products right now, maybe from WealthyPLR and other places, and if this describes you, that you have lots of things available, but you haven't really put together the pieces in order to move forward in making money. Now, if that's you, what I'd like for you to do so that I'll know who you are is to put a yes in the question box, because now I'm the only one that can see your answers when you say that, and I'm going to kind of keep going, and then I'll know where you stand. So if you just haven't been able to get started, or something's been getting in your way in terms of putting the package together, putting the pieces together, to start making money and sort of start generating sales and or profits, just put a yes in the question box. Now, what are the absolute minimums? Okay, so you need to have the capacity to build a list. So if you do not have an autoresponder account, okay, and this is even if you're not yet even creating products yet, or even if you're not yet let's say you're not yet at the point where you're selling things, you need to have an autoresponder account so that you can start generating sales on top of sales. Now, if you generate a sale and you only make that sale one time, however hard you work at making that sale, if you don't have an autoresponder or a way of collecting names and email addresses, you're going to have to work that much harder in order to generate your second sale. You need to have an internet marketing list. And so the way you do that, and listen, here's what I'm going to say to you. Now, I know that, a lot of people are going to say, well, Get Response and Aweber, and one's better than the other one, and MailWiz and all this stuff. If you're getting started and you don't have an autoresponder account at all in place, okay, get one. It doesn't matter that much. If you don't have one right now, you need to get one in place. And most of them are going to be between $15 and $20 per month. Now, understand something. I understand that you may not necessarily be at the point where you want to start paying out that money. Okay, you need to get used to paying your autoresponder account regardless. Okay, that's a fee. That's an expense. You need to start getting used to paying for the rest of your time online. So the sooner you can get used to that, the better you can be, and then you will be on your way to making money. Now, I've actually got a question here. And okay, this is great. This is great. I have a question here, and I'm gonna address your question here, James. That's a great question. Let me finish the one that I have here, and then I'm gonna dive right into that. Okay, so the absolute minimum, you need to have an autoresponder, okay, because you need to be building a list. That's an absolute minimum. There's no negotiation about that. Even if you are acting as an affiliate, if all you're doing is affiliate marketing, right, you're not creating products yet, you still need to build a list. Even if all you're doing is selling and marketing products inside of JVZoo, you still need to have an autoresponder to build a list, because otherwise, every sale you get, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to work for it the second and third time. And one of the foundational principles of marketing that I'm going to be talking about today is I'm going to be talking about the fact that you need to be generating as much as you can exponential sales. In other words, when you get the buyer inside of your shopping cart, you need to get them to buy as much as you can. Right? And one of the ways in which you do that is a follow-up email reminding them of what else you have available. A list is not an option, folks, if you are running an online business. So that is one of the absolute minimums. Probably the second absolute minimum that you need to have is you need to have a base of operation. You need to have a blog or a website, a WordPress website, a Blogger website, a WordPress.com website, a Weebly website, a Wix website, something, right? And you don't need to have 10 to get started, right? Now, even if you're buying PLR products, now you're saying, well, I've got to have, 10,000 domains and I've got to get all this hosting. When you get started, all you really need to have one domain name, and you can actually literally put your products under subdirectories until you figure out what you're doing. As a matter of fact, I would not necessarily even suggest that you go out spending a lot of money on lots of domains. I do suggest that you get PLR and start using it, right? So you need to have a base of operations, a domain name, and hosting. Now, yes, you can sell as an affiliate without any of that stuff. You can just sell with a link. But if you're going to make, again, I'm talking about if you're going to make a second sale, if you're going to make a sale after you made the first affiliate sale, it's going to be doubly hard if you don't have a website to send people to where you can show them the rest of what you have and for them to see your autoresponder. Is everybody with me so far? Does everybody understand what I'm saying so far? The absolute minimum foundations was a question. I'm going over that right now. So if you understand what I'm saying right now, put a yes in the question box or a Y, either one that works for me. Okay, if you understand what I'm saying. So you must have those two things. Now, the third thing that you must have is you must have the ability, or not the ability, or you must have an offer, right? You must have an offer. Now, that's either going to mean that you're going to need to create a product. You're going to need to get an affiliate product to sell. You must have something to sell. And if you haven't sold anything online, you haven't made your first dollar yet online, one of the first things you're going to have to do is decide on something to sell. Now, I'm not even going into talking about deciding on a niche right now. In order to make money online, you must have an offer, okay? And you must either create a product or you must sell someone else's product. There are a number of ways to become an affiliate. When you sell on ClickBank, you don't even need to have an application to sell the product. All you really need is an affiliate link. Okay, so if you haven't sold anything online, you haven't made a dime online, you must decide on an offer. Now, I understand that's not a niche, but when you decide on an offer, everything else is going to become secondary. You will then start figuring out where you're going to find the people to buy your offer. Right? Until you do that, you don't have the absolute minimum foundation for a business. Now, if you have those three things, ladies and gentlemen, now you may not have an online business, but you have the beginnings of being able to start making money online. Is everybody with me? Okay, if you're with me, put a Y in the question box and a yes. Okay, very good. Now I have, let's see, James has a question. Excuse me. And I'm going to read this. Here's his question. Okay, now using the products as is doesn't work. The minute any Wealthy PLR material is released, it is already available on the market as is. If you then go and change the graphics and rewrite the content, this takes very much time. I have get response and I have 6 PLR products available, but no sales. Okay, now I know that's what James wrote, but now if that's kind of true of your situation, if that sounds familiar to you also, okay, let me know by putting the number 1 in the question box. Okay, if that sounds like you also. So let me address that. Let me address that question that James have. Let's see, let me go back here to Q&A. Okay, so James's question is, how do you use the PLR products knowing that people already have the product? Right now, when you get a rights product, now whenever I get a rights product, here's what I don't do. I do not use it as is. I do not even have an intention of using it as is. The first thing that you're going to do whenever you get a PLR product is that you need to find out what the rights are. Typically, you're going to have the rights to be able to create new content with it and to be able to combine it with other products. Now, everything that I have is categorized, and you should be doing this too. Now, write this down if you're not doing this. If you're going to sell PLR, if you're going to use PLR. When you buy a new package, first thing you do, categorize it on your hard drive according to what it is and what the subjects are. You need to make sure that you have the titles and the subject to every video, as well as even the PDFs that you have. Now, why am I saying that? Because whenever you buy 2 or 3 packages of PLR on the same subject, what you have there, ladies and gentlemen, is you have the makings of a new product. Now, if you're just taking it as is, and you're just going to put up a sales page and put it in front of people, yes, you're going to be very limited in what you do. And yes, what I'm telling you to do is going to take a little bit more time. Now, it's not impossible to market the product as is. I'm just saying to you that if you really want to make a lot more money in the long run, right, you're going to take some of the steps that I'm going to be telling you about right now with your PLR. Now, how many of you all have heard of the site? How many of you all have heard of the site called Udemy? Right? I'm going to write that in here in the box. Udemy.com. How many of you all have heard of Udemy.com? Okay, if you have heard of Udemy.com, I want you to put a Y in the question box. Okay, now, many of you have heard of Udemy. And what people are doing, for the most part, is they're going in and they're creating content, creating courses. But what PLR gives you as an advantage is you do not have to recreate new ideas. Now, when you create a course, let's say for Udemy, or even if you want to create one yourself, you should be gathering everything you can get on a particular subject. Now, for instance, WealthyPLR has a Google Hangouts course. we've also given you PLR to other courses inside of that package. Now, I know on the market, as of right now, there are at least 3 other packages, right? Let's see, the welcome slide. I'm sorry about that. Dana, sorry about that. Sure. Let me put my, okay, sorry about that. So now can you see the slide there, Dana? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so one of the first things you're going to do when you get PLR is you need to categorize it, and you need to categorize it according to the subject matter. You don't have to get into any detail, but if you have 2 or 3 products on one subject, you have the makings of a new product. Now, how do you create and convert that product into something new? Now, for those of you who are looking for a way to take the product as is and then resell it, again, that is possible, but the fastest way to do that, if you're going to do that, okay, if that is your intention, is the fastest way for you to do that is to take the sales page, promote it on social media, and send paid traffic to it. There is no other way to do that quickly. If what you're looking for is something fast and easy, right? Quick cash. And then ability to use a PLR product to generate quick cash, sending paid traffic to it, and social media traffic to that page as is by far the fastest way to do that. But that's not the best use of PLR. The best use of PLR is to recreate the product in a new medium. I'm using Udemy as an example. Now, Udemy is a place where you can create multiple products. You don't have to even bother about having a membership site, but you do have to recreate the content. But what I will say to you is this, James, right? If you can recreate the videos or even recreate the audios, you will be able to generate more authority the second time. In other words, if I come to your site, James, and I see and I hear the product from your voice, in your name, or in the way that you would say it, again, I will come back to you for another product because you are an authority on the subject. Right? Now, again, if your purpose is to just generate cash, right? So you don't want to be an authority in that niche. You don't want to be you don't want to make money in that niche. Then the best thing to do is to put it on a fan page, and then to promote it on social media as well as sending paid traffic to it. And when you do that, then basically you're setting it up as a way to generate an evergreen business stream. Now again, are you going to make some money? Yes. Will you make as much money as you can? No, because really the best way to make money with PLR is to use it to build your authority and to get people coming back to you for the information that you're able to deliver to them in the way that they connect to you. Okay? Again, that is the highest and best use of PLR. That's how I use PLR. Now, and one of the ways in which I use PLR, I don't have any competition. I have no competition. I can take that PLR package on, let's say, Google Hangouts or anything that WealthyPLR does, and, well, I mean, I create a lot of it, but even if I didn't, I could take that package and I know of a way to use it so that I have no competition. Right now, it's not something that everybody's going to do. It's not something everybody's willing to do. But I know how to sell that. And here, now, do you want to know what that is? You want to know what that method is? Okay, if you guys want to know what that is, I'll tell you. Okay, let's see. Tell me now, James, are you in the UK? Are you in the United States? Where are you? Where are you in the world? Okay, you're in Canada. Excellent. Okay, Dickie, where are you? Okay, so here's great. No, absolutely fantastic. So here's how I do it. Okay, and I have zero competition. Now, you'd be surprised. How many of y'all have heard of offline marketing? And how do you, and so you've probably been to the Warrior Forum. You've probably been to JV Zoo and all those places. Everybody's talking about offline marketing. Now, when people talk about offline marketing, what are they talking about? They're talking about consulting, right? They're talking about small business consulting, aren't they? Now, that's not what I'm talking about. So again, most, if not everybody who's talking about offline marketing is talking about going into their local area and trying to get local businesses to pay them between $500 and $1,000 every month, right? Again, I'm not a salesperson. I am a trainer. I am an instructor. So for me to go into a small business and to try to close the deal and get into the sales process, not something I want to do. But I can train, and I do know how to teach. And so I play to my own strengths. And what I have found out, listen to me here, listen to me carefully, guys, because this works over and over in any niche. If you train in your local area on a subject matter and you have a CD available, if you can find a venue, or even if you use meetup.com, you can sell product to people in your local area over and over and over again, and they will think you are a genius. I'm not in competition with anyone. Okay? I can train in my local area selling to people who want to make money online or any subject, provide them a product in their hand, whether or not I put it on CD or whatever the case is. I can do that, and I'm not in competition with anybody. Zero. I'm not slugging it out with Lester Lim. I'm not slugging it out with Mike Filsaime. I am in a league by myself. Now, the other thing is this. I want you to hear me on this. I don't need to have an open rate for my emails because so I don't need to have a list of a gazillion people. You know why? Because people see my phone number, and it's a local phone number. People see my face, and they know where they can come and get me. They see my face, and so when I send out an email, guys, listen to me carefully. I don't need a gazillion people. Most people need a huge list because they can't generate enough trust, right? They can't generate enough trust to get lots of people to open their email, right? Because they're not in there. They don't know them. They're not in their local area. They've never seen them before. They never met them, right? And so I don't have to work as hard to get people to open my email and to read what I'm saying and to believe what I'm saying or to even come to what I have. And trying to get people to a Google Hangout, if they've met me already, is a lot easier than trying to get, let's say, you guys to come to one because you haven't met me personally. And so that's just one way to take your package, right? If you're willing to repackage it and sell it to people who want to make money online. Okay, and I'm telling you, it works. Now, I will, I could probably spend a whole session on that, but that's kind of one way. So in other words, here's what I'm saying to you. You need to build authority for yourself, and that's what you really want to use that package for, even if you want to sell it or use the sales page as is. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even change the sales page, but I would definitely change the content to something from me, right? It would be from me in my own voice with my inflections and with my emphasis. Now, okay, so Dickie's asking, is there any way for a voiceover? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I think most of the videos you have, I'm going to guess that, some of them are 5 minutes or so. I'm guessing that you could probably get those videos redone for less than $100 if you did them on Fiverr, right? Probably even less than that, or about the same if you did them on Elance. There are voiceover artists who are wanting to do that work. Okay, so you can have voiceovers done on Fiverr. You can have voiceovers done on Elance. You can have voiceovers done on Craigslist. I know they have Craigslist. They probably have voiceover people on Craigslist in Singapore. There are so many people who are ready and willing to do voiceovers, and because we are a freelancing society, lots of people will be willing to cut their price the first time for you in order to get your business. So voiceovers are easy to do. They are inexpensive, and you can find them. Start with Craigslist, Fiverr, Elance, Odesk. Okay, 4 places. And there are also even specialty sites that specialize in voiceovers. And if that does not work for you, if none of those things work, right? If you have Twitter followers and Facebook followers, put the message out there on your Facebook. I'm looking for a voiceover artist to do this project. Have this person call me. You will be surprised at the results that you get. If you put that out there to your friends, they will find you someone who does voiceovers and can do it reasonably. Okay, is that clear? Is everybody with me on that? Okay, is anything I said unclear? Okay, great. Okay, so let's kind of move on here. Okay, so we've covered that. Okay, so now I don't know if I'm going. This may or may not be recorded, and so if you're in the VIP for WealthyPLR, you have unrestricted rights to what I'm about to share in this content. So you can take the content, you can do with it what you want, you can use it as a bonus, whatever you want to do with this webinar. It'll be up in about 48 to 72 hours in the back office. You can get it and use it however you please. Okay, so I don't have any. Excuse me. I don't have any reservations about that. So if it can help you in your business, or you can sell it, or you can use it as a bonus, please do. Okay, so most of you know me already. I have my BS from University of Pennsylvania. My MBA is from Syracuse. Now, I don't say that to impress anybody. That's just what it is. I started a doctorate in instructional technology. I didn't finish it. I got all the way to the dissertation and pretty much walked away. Okay, so at that point, in my last year, or probably in graduate school, is when I start learning to use Camtasia. As a matter of fact, I started using Camtasia in 2003. And so really and truly, everybody, one of the reasons why I have absolute certainty, I've been talking to computer screens since 2003 for 12 years, literally. So I have the utmost confidence in what I can do in terms of putting together videos and webinar training because, again, I've been talking to my computer screen longer than some people have been involved in internet marketing. So if let's say you're approaching this and you're on Camtasia, you got Camtasia or you got Screencast-O-Matic or you're on a webinar or you're trying to do a Google Hangout and you're thinking, I can't do this. Well, neither could I when I first started. And the only way that some of you guys are going to be able to do this, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to say this as an aside. If you have a chance, here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell me what niche you're in. Okay, if you're in the make money online niche, write that in the box. If you're in the weight loss niche, whatever niche you're in, please put that in the box. I just want to know. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. Whatever niche you're in, even if you're just getting started, and I've said this before, start doing a webinar once a week. Okay, do not miss doing one. And I don't care what your, if you are uncomfortable doing it, I don't care if you've never done a webinar or a Google Hangout, you need to start doing a Google Hangout so that you build authority. People will find you and come to you for more information, but you must start positioning yourself as an authority. That is the best way to do that. Start doing webinars or a Google Hangout once a week. Put it on your calendar tonight, right? Start doing that. If you want to sell product, if you want to coach people, right? So let's say you want to buy articles, you want to put it on your site. All that's cool, but you must establish yourself as an authority, and the way you're going to do that right now, okay, you need to start doing a webinar once weekly, minimum. minimum. And now, when you first start, nobody's going to want to come to your webinar. You're going to share it on social media, and you might just, the only people you might get to start when you start your webinars might be your mom or your dad or your dog. Okay. Nobody might come. But if you're consistent about doing your Google Hangout, your webinar, and sharing information in your niche, timely information, people will start sharing your content, and you will start to see your webinars grow. It is the fastest way to build an authority position in your niche. Okay, so that that's just an aside. And you know, I don't mean the rabbit trail, but it's just the truth. Okay, I started internet marketing by training multi-level marketers on webinars. Right? That's how I got my start. Okay, so again, I know that works. Okay, I knew nothing about, I didn't know a whole lot about internet marketing, but little I did, I started training people. So then in 2009, I started creating products and coaching. Okay, once I started doing webinars and people started coming, you know what happened? Guess what happened, guys? Here's what happened. People started asking me questions. And so then I'd have to find the answer to those questions. I'd have to do videos for those questions. And then by doing those videos, by answering those questions, I did two things. Number one, I started building myself as an authority. Number two, I started learning what it was to do an online business. And when I started teaching, people started coming to me and they wanted to buy coaching. It was amazing to me. But all of that started, ladies and gentlemen, right? Again, yes, I had products like you all had. Yes, I had PLR like you all had, right? But I started taking what I was learning and I started teaching it. How many of you all are teaching what you learned? Just as a show of hands. If right now, whatever you get, right? If you're teaching and you're consistent about teaching, right? You must be consistent in your niche about teaching if you are going to start attracting people to what it is you're doing. Okay, so now I ran and from that I ran a membership site. I started doing offline products, and then after that I joined John and WealthyPLR and Venkata, and so the rest is history. What I'm doing right now in my local area is I'm doing online and offline coaching, as well as working with John and Venkata in WealthyPLR. So let's talk about the classic business model for PLR, right? Which is kind of what James was talking about. What's the classic model? If you have no list, let's say you bought PLR, you don't have a list at all. Now, if that's your position, if you are in that position right now, we should put the number 1 in the question box. Okay, you have PLR, you got products, but right now, okay, now I'm the only one who can see your answers, so don't worry about that, right? So if that's you right now, there's nothing to be ashamed about. Right? There's nothing to be ashamed. I bought AWeber for 3.5 years and didn't have a single soul in it. Right? I just had it. Okay, so if you don't have one, the best place to start is to get it out on the table. Right? So you don't have a 10,000 person list. That's cool. You got to start from somewhere. Okay, so classic model, you don't have a list. So the first thing you got to do is you got to put up your sales page. Now, hopefully, if you have products, right, so you have to put up your sales page. Okay? You got to put PayPal buttons on there or JVZoo buttons on there. Now, again, and I realize some of you guys are probably advanced. I understand that, but I do have to say that. Right? I do have to say that. Just because you have your sales page up and you didn't get around to putting the PayPal button on there, or you don't know how to do it and you never quite got around to it and you bought another product. Listen, if somebody trips and stumbles and finds your site, right, and it does happen, right, people are not going to contact you. They're not going to come to you and tell you, oh, I want to buy your product, but you didn't have a PayPal button there. Okay, right now, if you have products on the internet, you have products on a domain right now, but you have not put your PayPal button or JVZoo button on there, you can't make money. You have to start with that. Okay, now, here's the real deal. Now, you need to start driving targeted traffic to that page, okay, and to an opt-in or email. You can do that by social media. That's very easy. Now, again, I understand Facebook and I guess Twitter or who's it? Pinterest is no longer allowing affiliate links. We don't care about that because we should be driving that traffic to our own blog or website anyway. So you shouldn't necessarily rely on just naked affiliate links anyway. You need to have your own blog, but okay. The classic model is you drive social media traffic to the page. You can also get inside of a page like a form, like the Warrior Forum. So whatever your niche is. So if your niche is weight loss, you should be in a weight loss forum, right? With a signature that has a link to your site, right? You should have your own blog, and you can also do SEO. I know some of you all are probably learning how to do SEO, which is fantastic, right? That's a way you can drive targeted traffic to your, probably the best way. The number one way to drive targeted traffic to your site, as of right now, is video, right? Video, because people love to watch video. They love to watch boring videos. They love to watch stupid videos. They love to watch video. And so what e-sign articles used to be, right? What e-sign articles used to be, video is on YouTube right now. Okay, so if you're not doing anything else right now, you should be driving traffic using video. If you have to do a screencast video with Camtasia or Screencast-O-Matic, if you have to do a talking head video with your iPhone, you can drive traffic with video if you have solid information. And really and truly, guys, that is what I would be using my PLR to do, right? That is what I use PLR to do. I don't try to reinvent the wheel and try to come up with new information. Okay, if I do a video, oftentimes I can do a video just by getting what I can from PLR, right? And you can do the same thing in any niche, okay? And not everybody has to do it in the make money online niche. You can do video on just about anything. Now, how many of you all are familiar with solo ads and Adswaps? Okay, Dickie, you are good. Anybody else? Now, a solo ad is basically you're going to pay. It's paid advertising, right? So you're going to pay for the right to get opt-ins to your what? Your list. Now, again, if you don't have an autoresponder, you can't do Adswaps, right? You can't do solo ads if you don't have an autoresponder. So your autoresponder is not set up. You're not even ready to do solo ads and Adswaps. Adswaps are basically a way for you to be able to either pay or, solo ads are a way for you to pay to get opt-ins. Adswaps are a way for you to work with people who have a list your size. Now, if you know someone and they have a list of, let's say, only 50 people or 100 people, right, you can work with them if your list is small. Now, you've got to find reliable solo ad providers. Yes, that's exactly. Dickie said that. Yeah, you find a reliable solo ad provider. But it is a way to drive targeted traffic. Now, we're talking about the classic model. Now, this is all of this stuff. Now, here's why this is all cool. Okay? Now, you didn't pay much for the PLR. If you can get this traffic to your site, it's quick cash, relatively little work. Now, here's the weakness, right? The weakness is it's going to be hard to recruit affiliates when you have a PLR product where you just put up the page and you're going to get them to market a product that everybody else has. Right now, and again, I understand that. I think that's kind of what James, is that what you were talking about? It's difficult to recruit affiliates also? Yeah, so in other words, one of the things that's going to be difficult to do is to recruit affiliates. And this is once again why I'm saying when you get PLR, probably one of the first things you want to do is create something unique with the product. I'm going to be talking a little bit about that here in this call. Now, the other weakness of just taking the PLR as is and driving traffic to it is, as we said, other people have the same product and their sales page, which is what James pointed out to us. Okay, and as I said just a few minutes ago, here's the other weakness to that. It's hard to build authority, right? So in other words, I buy your product, I like it, but I have very little reason for you to buy something from you again. Now, here's something that you have to keep in mind. I'm more likely to buy your OTO, right? If I think that you're credible, and I think that and I liked your first offer, and I bought it because you're credible, I'm more likely to buy that OTO also. Right? So one of the weaknesses of just sending the traffic to this in this classic model is that you don't get the opportunity to build authority. So now let's say you have a list. Okay, all the same stuff, right? So when you have a list, what you're doing is you're setting up a marketing funnel and driving traffic, but when you have a list, you're basically collecting the leads and you are sending that traffic back to the offer by sending out an email. Now, probably the most important thing is that, look, this leverages your time. In other words, you got the sale the first time, but you are also getting other sales every time you send out an email. Okay? Now, the weakness, again, is that, when you do this, you don't build up a lot of authority, and that people have the same materials, and that the customer can price shop even if you send out email. Okay? So that's the weakness. Now, if you're going to market to any niche, okay, so how many of you are in the make money online niche right now? Okay, how many of you all are in the make money online niche? Okay? Okay, so most of you. Okay, good. Now, here's the thing you have to figure out. Okay, here's the thing that you gotta keep in mind. Now, how many of you all have understood internet marketing from a foundational perspective? So if you have never heard this before, this is going to really help you, because once you understand this, you're going to understand how the big picture works. And once you understand how the big picture works, then you'll start putting in the methods to make your offer work or to make your list work or however you do. But you must understand this fundamental. Now, one of the things that I think someone asked, and I covered this in the question at the beginning, is how do I set up my business? Okay, how do I set up an internet marketing business? How do I set it up? What are the foundational principles? And I talked about having a list, about having an offer, talking about making sure I had a place where I could sell things. Now, here's what you must understand about marketing, right? Internet marketing, offline marketing, product marketing. Once you understand what I'm about to show you, you will then understand the big picture enough to market in any niche, any product, anything, and internet marketing is going to make sense to you. Now, how many of y'all have ever heard of Jay Abraham? Now, what Jay Abraham did was he basically put into place, or he has captured, he has put into perspective the 8 marketing principles that you need to have always in operation in order to maximize your profit in anything you're selling. So even if all you're doing is driving traffic to an affiliate offer, if you have these 8 things in place, you will be generating a massive amount of profit if you can continue and be consistent about doing these 8 things in a system. First, right? First and foremost, what you have to do with your product, right? Whatever it is, even if you're going to take the PLR page that we give you, you need to take that PLR and make sure that it has a USP. Now, this is where you come in. You must add the USP. You must add something to your product that people cannot get elsewhere. You must add something to your product that people really want that they can't get elsewhere. You must add something to your product that people can't get elsewhere, that they really want, that they must have yours. Even if everybody else is selling it, they must have yours. Right now, what is a USP? Great question. A USP is called unique selling proposition. And if you don't have, how many of you all have heard of unique selling proposition, USP? Okay, how many of you all have ever heard of a USP or unique selling proposition? Okay, I might not even, this might be as far as I get tonight. So, okay, so unique selling proposition is basically this. Okay, great, Dana, thank you. So unique selling proposition is what? It basically means, what can I get from you that I can't get elsewhere? Right now, again, do you have to do that to your PLR in order to sell it? No. No, but if you want to sell a lot and you want to sell it repeatedly, yeah. And so when you have a USP, basically what this requires you to do is to understand who you're selling to and understand what they want. Now, if your product answers the question they want and gives them something they want that they can't get elsewhere, guess what? It doesn't matter if everybody else has the same sales page. You have something that they want. Now, let's talk about a dating product for a second. Okay, let's talk about a dating product for a second. Now, let's say that I have the same dating product as 10 other people. How can I add something? What can I add to my product? What can I put on my sales page that I can have so that mine is different from everyone else's? What can I add? How can I add value? Anybody? So this is a question. I want you to think about this. An extra bonus. Good. Okay, great. So what kind of bonus? What kind of bonus can I add to my page that people can't get elsewhere? Okay, I want you to think about this. Okay, yes, it must be related. Excellent. What can I give to them that's related to the product? Okay, great point. That they cannot get elsewhere. So I've got the same sales page as 10 other people. Because again, look, rebranding is one thing, which is yes, you must do, but you must also, in part of your rebranding, you must add value. Now, I want you to write this down, or don't have to write this down, but you should be offering. And for those of you, I think one of you all said that you have been involved in network marketing before, right? You should be offering 10 times the value of what they're paying. So if somebody's going to pay you $10 for your product, you should be giving them $100 of value minimum. So how are you going to add value? So how are you going to add more value than the other guy, right? What can you do? Right? If I was to have a dating product, right? If I was to have a dating product, how would you think? Do you think that a Kindle author who writes on dating would like to have a little exposure? Right? How would you take? Do you think that by offering a fantastic 1-hour interview with the author of, fill in the blank, as a unique product, or as a unique part of your product, adds value? Of course it does. Do you think that adding in a webinar on the back end, right, immediately following their purchase, right, an automated webinar where you're going to be sharing with them even more secrets, adds value? Of course you can. Do you have to do those things? No. But do you want to add a USP? Do you want to add something that's going to give them something that they care about? Yes. So when you start talking about a unique selling proposition, you need to be making your product or service something that is unique that they cannot get elsewhere. Is everybody with me on USP? Okay, very good. Now it's about 9:49, and there's no way I'm getting through all 8 principles tonight. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to stop here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it up in our next webinar. I might be willing to do that next webinar tonight. Now, how many of you all found this helpful? How many of you all found that this gives you a little more insight into some things that you can be doing with your PLR? Okay, great. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pick this up in another webinar again. Now, I'm not pitching anything to you. I would suggest that if you're going to be picking up anything, if you do not have our, I think it's our, what is it called? Our marketing, our perpetual marketing thing. Yeah. Yeah, if you didn't get the fire sale, I would suggest you pick that up. That's about it. So without pitching you. I don't want to make this a pitch thing. But if you haven't picked up our fire sale, you didn't get that round about December, it's still available. Pick it up. And that's from WealthyPLR. But other than that, I don't really have any pitching for you. I want you to make sure that you're getting back here for the next webinar. Now, in the next webinar, here's where I'm going to start. Now, I'm going to start with the second principle called exponential marketing. Now, what is exponential marketing? Exponential marketing is basically where I make money on top of money. So in other words, how do I cross-sell? How do I upsell when I'm an online marketer? How do I make perpetual sales? And what are all the ways that I should be getting the lifetime value from the customer? In other words, when a customer buys from you the first time, if all you're relying on that person to do is to give you one sale, you're leaving money on the table, and someone else is going to sell to them something that they need. What you need to do is to make sure that you have all of your bases covered. Now, how many of you all probably thought that OTOs were extra stuff? Right? You thought, well, I don't want to do an OTO. I don't want to do that. I don't want to bother my customer. I don't want to do that. I don't want to turn them off. An OTO is not extra, guys. It's not extra. If you're not doing an OTO, you are leaving money on the table. It's really simple. And it is something that you need to do because you need to have related products and services that your buyer can get in order to provide more value to them. And you should have all of those things in place. If all you have is your sales page, again, that's great, but you can make a lot more money. You can make a lot more money when you have upsells, cross-sells, and follow-up sales. Right? You must have them. So that's really what I'm going to start there next time, and we're going to dive into what it means to have exponential selling. Now, in the meanwhile, we've talked about USP, and we're going to go through all 8 principles before I'm done. Okay? Any questions right now before we pack it up here? Does anyone have any questions on anything that I covered tonight, or questions in general about your internet marketing business? Any questions at all? Okay, everyone. Well, it's been good having you, and I look forward to you. Do not miss our second webinar. We are going to pick it up right here at the 8 essential marketing principles. We're going to start with exponential marketing so that you can, again, start building more profit into everything you're selling. With that, thanks, and I will see you in our next webinar. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.